Alright, so now I have the sort of these bumps and ridges on the back finished. I'm going to move on to these back plates, making them look like they belong a little bit more. Now the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to sculpt in a little ridge up here on the skin that lines up with the shape of the back plate. So to do that, I'm going to use the draw tool because it's a bit more respective to whatever alpha you're using. So rather than the buildup, I'm going to use draw. And with this third alpha, the one that's very pointed, I can sculpt along the side here. Now, in order to make sure that it lines up really well, I have something up here called steady stroke turned on. So here's the difference between that. So without steady stroke, with it turned off, I can sculpt a very jagged line. And I could do that, but I want it to be a little bit smoother than that. So if I turn on steady stroke, what happens is that you get this little black trail behind your cursor, and the brush is actually painted at the end of that trail. So imagine it like towing something behind your car with a cable. The brush is not following my mouse movement, or in this case my tablet movement exactly. It's sort of averaging out based off of this distance. The longer this distance, the smoother your curve will be. So if I increase this to something like, say, 50, then you see I have a very difficult time. I'm shaking my brush all over the place, and it's still following a relatively smooth path. For the most part, I like to keep that at 15. And I will just smoothly draw a ridge right along there. Have it continue down here a little bit, and then I'll smooth it out. And then what I'll do is I will use my fill brush and then probably turn off steady stroke for this. And I will fill in the area on the side opposite of the plate itself. Smooth that. And then what I'll do in order to make it look a little bit more natural is I'll turn off symmetry, go down to my move tool, and then I'll start moving this around. And this way, the reason why I do it this way is because with the steady stroke on, I know that both sides will be very even and they'll be very easy to draw. But then with the move tool, I can still make non-symmetrical adjustments and make it look a little bit more organic at the same time. And then finally, something I can do is I can go in with my pinch brush. Gotta be very careful with this one. And I can start to pinch it together to make it really sharp. Now the pinch brush actually works a lot better in surface mode than it does in voxel mode. And the reason for that is because in voxel mode, it's trying to pinch together volume, and due to the resolution of the voxels, there's only so far you can pinch it before it just simply says there's no longer any volume there. Whereas with a surface model, what we're doing, hopefully you guys can see this on the video, is we're pulling together existing points, so we can make something infinitely sharp. So now I've got that, and it actually looks like the plates are embedded in the skin. I might go in with my move tool again and sink that down just a tiny bit so it isn't protruding out quite so far. And once again, for all this kind of detail work, I have symmetry turned off. It may mean you have to do twice as much work, but it'll look a lot better if you do.